And it's a story about an attack on Harpert's Blockhouse, which was one of the 112 civilian-built refuge forts that graced the Virginia frontier in the 1770s and 80s. And the story takes place on a day when there was an attack by the Shawnee Indians on the blockhouse. Some of the menfolk were off somewhere, and I guess the Indians knew that, but they came and began attacking. And one of the little boys, little Joseph Cunningham, dashed into the loom house, the house where the outbuilding where the loom was, to get away from the attack, and he hid under the treadles of the loom. And one of the Indians either saw him go in there or thought to look, and they found little 8-year-old Joe Cunningham hiding underneath the loom. Well, they took him back to Ohio. Adopting someone into your family was not based on the color of your skin or your birth. It was based on your bravery and your quality as a human being. Well, like most of the captives, little Joseph Cunningham had to run the gauntlet. 2 lines, in this case of little boys about his age, lined up with sticks to whack at him as he ran past them. Well, he bravely started the run, and partway down the run, he got mad. And he turned around and went to the one side and started beating up on the little Indian boys, and they loved it. It meant to them that he was brave and not a coward, and that he was worth being adopted into a family, and so he was. And he was raised by the Indians for 16 years. Well, the next thing you know, he's a young adult, and there's a big prisoner exchange. And young Joseph Cunningham gets traded back to the white community to rejoin what was left of his family. And he ran away and went back to the Indians for a while, but then he realized, no, I'm a white man. And he went back and he took a bride and lived more or less happily ever after, although they said every so often he would disappear into the forest for a few days, perhaps to rejuvenate, perhaps to regroup, and then he'd reappear and go on with the life that he felt he was probably intended to lead. And that's the story of Joseph Cunningham.